All right. Hi everyone. Welcome to our first Validator community group call. So the Validator community work group is dedicated community bringing together the validators to engage in discussion and exchange ideas concern related to the near network. So the primary object of the call is oh, um, is to foster dialogue and engagement within the near validator community. I think we all know that nurturing like a robust community among validator is like crucial for the ecosystem. So we will have the roundtable discussion call once a month, inviting all the developers from the near core team to participate up across. We don't have any this time, but we'll try to bring someone next time. So this call will follow a free format structure with like just basic moderations. So uh, to encourage like any discussion. So basically anyone can talk. Just please raise your hand if there's anything you want to talk about or to discuss, or maybe just throw in the chat and we'll take a look. So the goals of the call is to um, uh, like you see on screen, facilitating communication and collaborations, discuss on problem initiative, and generate proposal for the validator work group to review. Um, this work group, uh, so so we all know that the community group is very much different from the work group. So now I'll pass the mic to Dennis, so he can instruct someone like on the work group, and after that we'll get into the topics.
Yeah, thanks, Budam. All right, so basically the idea was, as Ori is part of Near Foundation, right? Ori, he approached us together with, from people from Near Foundation saying that we need to have a validator working group organized. If anybody is volunteering to actually take part in that, it would be nice. So we all knew that there have been like many unanswered questions in near ecosystem, especially near validator ecosystem. And basically I decided to that take active part in this initiative will be really great to help the community. You'll know, like over the last 2.5 years, I've been trying to, address some issues, being active part in the near validators community. But this is a chance now to actually make it more kind of official with the help of Ori and Near Foundation. We can really make things happen. And there are pressing matters we've been trying to resolve, and unsuccessfully. So it's time now to actually get this done. So there are two kind of groups: the community group, the validator community group, which we hope to a limited members group, which currently consists of the members which you see on the screen. There are more spaces, but they are limited. If anybody want to volunteer to join the group, please ping us on the Telegram. The purpose of the group is you as a part of this group, as a validator, should be available to certain activities which is happening at near ecosystem. And for example, there are certain proposals which published on NEARWEEK forums, which require certain communities to address these proposals. They proposing something, and specifically proposals related to validators activity. For example, changing economy, changing fees, adding new validator type, the last proposal we had been working with is the proposal which wanted to run a near validator node from the browser. This is just an example. So this group will be taking care of these proposals and discussing proposals internally and posting their, basically casting their votes if they are against or for this particular proposal. So this is the reason for this group. Also, whatever comes out from the validator roundtables may become a proposal, and these members will be discussing that and trying to make near foundation to actually implement whatever we agree. If you have any questions, please free to raise the hand and ask. Maybe I can quickly pass the mic to Ori. He would maybe have some more information about working groups, as he's been running like other working groups for near ecosystem for a while now.
Sure, I do have one question. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Sorry. So is there any correlation between the NDC and what we're doing here?
Not really, no. The NDC is like a digital collective which has different agenda, and the working groups, I think they kind of they maybe overlap at certain things, but not necessarily. But again, Ori may have some more understanding.
So in one of those NDC meetings, there was discussions that there was. I thought there was discussions that there was going to be like a validator group in the NDC, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think there tends to be some confusion around NDC versus DevGov. Right now, we're talking within the context of DevGov. I just posted a link there, which really is focusing on the developer ecosystem, on decentralizing the developer ecosystem. And so we have been working on, providing social structures and tools to help with that goal of decentralization, and that includes, these groups that Dennis just outlined. If you go on that website, you'll be able to see all of the different working groups that we have operating today. So that, we have, for example, a protocol work group, contract standards, wallet standards, tools, zero knowledge, and now Validator is the newest group. And a lot of these groups have been meeting over the last few months to make decisions on various proposals and questions in the ecosystem. And then if you scroll down to the bottom of that website, you will see all of the different community groups, which are more informal, as Dennis mentioned. And they're really meant to be like today, a bunch of people can come together, discuss pain points, discuss ideas. If somebody is working on a proposal, they can bring that to their group. But really the idea is to have a space for people to connect and support each other and help make the ecosystem better through collaboration. So yeah, and then I will also drop a link to the Near Dev Hub, which used to be called the Gigs board. And that is sort of like the platform that we've been building to enable a lot of the activities. So right now it's still in the early days, but you'll see that there's a community section in there where we actually hope to bring all of the content from the different communities in one place to make it easily discoverable, as well as a place for people to actually submit their proposals and get them from idea all the way to implementation and possibly request funding, etc. So yeah, please let me know if anyone has any questions. But yeah, I'd love to turn it back, I guess, to Kudam or Dennis and get to the actual topics.
Yeah, thank you. Kudam, maybe you can change the slide or open the agenda if you have it in other document.
Yeah.
But we all have a link to the document anyway. And currently agenda is to talk to the matters we have been discussing for last year, and particularly Stake Wars 3 delegations, the validator economy, the topic of assisting the low stake validators and the Pol V2 and liquid staking providers. We luckily have Alan from Metapool here, who may be able to help us with answering some of these questions. We unluckily don't have any near team members this today, but we really hope that if this meeting is successful, we really hope to have them on the next meetings. And just bear in mind, it's a consensus today, so we haven't really picked up a good day for this meeting. So we really hope the next meeting will be more people attending, and it will be better time. But we still decided to go ahead with that, just to understand that the format is acceptable, everybody's happy, and to learn from mistakes we do today, and continuing improving these meetings. So let's discuss stakeholder 3 delegation. So anyone just outline what I have seen in the near validator mainnet validator group discussion. That we know that there have been about 150 onboarded validators after stake war 3, correct? Or actually, sorry, let me check the numbers. Less than that, and that the delegation has already been completed, but there have been some questions. I think Stan from Spectrum Staking had raised some questions as well. If we can discuss that.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I can try to ask questions. Yeah. So basically, so we were one of the pools which were delegated by NEAR Foundation, right? Yeah. According to the rewards, we were delegated about 45 K a year, right? And now, and that NEAR was delegated via Metapool, all right, under Metapool DAO stake account, right, or contract. So actually, and what we noticed is that all 40K out of that pool was unstaked, right? Even though, as per our understanding of stake wars 3 terms, that stake was guaranteed for at least 1 year. All right. I know Alan answered me on the Discord, and basically he mentioned that all that stake actually went to Metapool, normal Metapool delegation. But as far as I know, that normal Metapool .near stake pool delegation is dynamic in nature. So, for example, if we choose to set, currently we are running for almost 5 months, we are running 0% commission. But if, for example, if we choose to set 10%, all that stake will be taken away. All right, because of the dynamic nature of the Metapool. Yeah, so I'm just trying to clarify, why is that stake is not guaranteed anymore, and where that stake went to, where actually this NEAR Foundation tokens went to.
Okay, I will try to contribute a bit. Just for mention, I have sore throat, so maybe you can hear me coughing in some moment. Yeah, but just going in single steps. The first one is we had an account that is Metapool DAO.near. This Metapool DAO.near was, the intention was to kick off the validator so you can have enough seed price, and once that you have enough seed price, you can have a stable chunk production and a stable APY, and basically you are ready to contribute to this set of mainnet validators. Maybe there was some miscommunication around that, but the basic point many of the validators ask is, why was removed? Because you are having good performance as a validator, and now we are giving the delegation that is being going applied through Metapool.near that account. If you take this in consideration, maybe what you have is an agreement for 1 year of having ensured the the amount of tokens you got on State Wars. But if you got those through the liquid staking mechanism that have Metapool, you can ensure that those tokens can be more time in case that the State Wars 3 agreement finishes, because you will be on the set of validators of Metapool as a normal validator. So that's one point that I want to note for all the validators. Also, as far as I know, based on the comments of the co-founders, the liquid stakers received the NEAR tokens. We stake the tokens on the mechanism, and we apply these tokens to the validators. And the liquid staking token that we had, in this case, STNIC, there is a compromise to take this back to the foundation, because this is part of why we cannot take total action around the tokens that we are liquid staking. So part of what we are doing at this point of staking the tokens is just going full with the agreement. I'm also, I want to note that there are many, or what we can do better for the next times of making a State Wars, or even for the things that we're doing right now, is improve how all this mechanism will work from day 0, that is announced at the State Wars, to 1 year after that this happens. Because and I want to be very clear on this, I felt like many things are being solved around the time that we are facing the problems. So I think we need to have a better organization in general around how this will work, for any purpose, for having a better relationship with the validators, for having more clarity about how we are going to develop, and having more clarity on how the new validators are going to be receiving these tokens. We don't have also clear if there is a next, how will be if there is an State Wars 4, or which will be the rules or the goals that this State Wars 4 will have. But I think it's good to have these kind of calls, to have an open table to talk about how can this be better. As Metapool specifically, I think that all the feedback that we have from the community, and we are very open to all the validators to ask, to make any question, and to know what is happening, can help us to support all the community as Metapool. And now, as being on the working group is better for having these problems on the table.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
I'm a little. I have a question. I'm just a little bit confused. Was there some guarantee from? Was the guarantee some minimum delegation from the foundation for the stake wars, or was it just that the guarantee was that they would meet the minimum C price? Or was there any promises? Maybe there was nothing. I don't know.
No, every validator that won on the State Wars 3 have an amount of tokens that have to be assigned based on their participation. There are an amount of tokens that you want for being delegated. As David mentioned, NEAR Foundation don't delegate. NEAR Foundation move the tokens to liquid stakers as Metapool linear. And there is a public table that I can share you in just one moment, about how many tokens every one of these validators will get. What happened, for example, in the case of Metapool, they have this basic amount, and they have an extra amount based on the liquid staking mechanism. I can say that for the side of Metapool, I'm not sure about linear, what we can ask. But yeah, you have like 45K NEAR for Ed's validator, and you have 30K NEAR for any other validator.
So are there validators that are saying that they're getting less than that? I'm a little sympathetic to this. I'm just I don't want to lose validators that we don't need to lose.
Yeah, there are validators. I think the minimum that they are receiving is 20K, and 20K in advance is the amount of token they are getting. There is a
25.
situation around that because seed price is not accomplished for those, but many are currently getting delegation from other sources.
Stan, you
Please
still
go ahead,
have a
Stan.
Yeah. So two clarifying questions. So hypothetically, right? So if I would set 10% commission on my validator, I would say would I still get 45K guaranteed allocation from Metapool currently? And like under the Metapool near account.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
the short answer is yes.
Okay.
I really don't want to make this like the Metapool AMA. We have the channels, but yeah, the answer is
Well,
yes.
this is related. Okay, cool. And this second question. So does it mean that NEAR Foundation funds were assimilated into NEAR Metapool, like generic Metapool delegation?
Yeah,
Like,
these tokens are going to the liquid staking mechanism of Metapool.
okay, they generic liquid staking mechanism. Okay,
Yeah.
and will they remain there till 1 year, or will they be unstaked by NEAR Foundation by when the year runs out?
The agreement is 1 year. Being honest, I don't know if the NEAR Foundation have plans to remove this delegation. I mean, seeing this as a validators community, I think we made a huge step from moving from 100 validators to close to 200 validators. I don't think that if you ask me if today is the last day of delegation after 1 year, and you ask me, hey, we need to remove this, personally, I think don't do it. Keep more people validating. But well, we all need to talk more about how well are doing validators and how necessary is this. If you ask me, between more validators, more decentralization, but there is also a matter of how much profit you can generate. There is another topic around that because many validators are not generating enough money even for paying hardware. But yeah, the remaining is 1 year, and anything else will be seen on the future.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for the clarification.
Thanks, Alan. I think this would bring us to the next topic, and it actually correlates with the next topic, validators economy. We're all aware that the validators are bare bones for every network. And it's absolutely crucial and important that we first decentralize validators, and we have as many validators as possible, because this is a network security, this is network stability, and this is everything. So what currently we have here, what we've seen here, that all the Stake Wars 3 participants and also some from Stake Wars 2 have some few delegations that it's basically unprofitable to run a validator pool for them. Not even talking about the backup nodes, just a single node is unprofitable. So what that means, these people are basically, we all believe in NEAR, but validators don't want to run in negative profit. So what they do, they run onto lower hardware, cheaper hardware, and this is something we want as a network, as a validators community, want to avoid it at all cost. So if validators to start running their nodes on the cheap hardware, it's affecting the network. I know it's basically that this stake weight is the important bit. I meaning that more stake, more you taking part in network, in the protocol, in voting and everything. But even these small validators are really important. Even RPC nodes are very important to the network stability. So I think I just want to compare NEAR to other blockchains and how they address these issues. And especially during the bear market, where we see the token prices so low that we can't really afford for running the pools at the break even. So, for example, take example of Polkadot. They increased the minimum, Kusama or Polkadot. They increased a maximum amount of commission fee we accepted into their foundation program called 1,000 Validators. And it's now 15%, where it used to be 10. So they're trying to do something to attract more validators. They have a specific program rules, which every validator has to comply with, like a hardware they run, decentralization, the voting and everything. So they have a document how to actually, and they're trying to help these validators to stay at minimum spec hardware and don't go like crazy on reducing the cost. Same Solana. They have like TDF22 program, which they sponsor the validators who's running testnet node, and they pay twice as much of Solana price the cost of the server. And these servers they're trying to kind of get into the program are starting from $900 per month. So they compensating the validator in locked Solana for these costs. It's not ideal. I mean, some validators do not take that because they think the locked Solana, 1 year locked, you never know what's going to happen with the price. But some do, and this is something people do. Like, and I know we've been discussing with Mario and Alan. There's been a discussion on the government forum about the stake subsidy, like. What did you call it, Alan? Like minimum validator minimum wage or something like. But anyway, there are different ways how we can address it, but we definitely need to address it somehow because we don't want to see all the bottom list validators running the cheapest node or actually disconnecting their nodes. It's also very bad for delegators who are here to support decentralization, and they stake into the lower stake nodes to support decentralization. That's what is advised by the protocol. We even show like decentralization numbers on your staking website. So these valid delegators will be effective if a node owner decided to shut down the node. So this is something I want to discuss and maybe hear people's opinion. And maybe we can come up with certain idea and actually present it to NEAR Foundation and discuss it. And I hope we will be heard and there will be some changes. Yeah, Alan?
Yeah, I think, well, you can look at the post. I think that there is no a single action that can solve all the problems on this side. I think it's multilateral. I can mention about we as Metapool. Many people came to us and say, "Hey, can you give me more stake?" If you want to see, you can see that the total amount of NEAR staked is close to 500 million of tokens, and Metapool have close to 9. And all the liquid stakers have less than that. Many of these tokens are locked tokens or locked accounts that cannot, at least Metapool at this point cannot take it. I know that Linear have something for that. I'm not really sure. We can ask to them. But most of the economy of the tokens that we have for being staked are in locked accounts. These locked accounts can be VCs, early angel investors, or any other commercial agreement that is related to this. So we think that on these models that there are ways that we can be moving part of these big tokens to those small validators just to be more profitable. There is also another part. I also mentioned that there is people that maybe should be running nodes just for supporting the network because they have other interests. For example, developers that have the apps running on the network, maybe they should be running nodes just for preserving the decentralization of the network. And also regional communities that it's also evolving can be another source of people that can be running nodes just for having those part of the work running a node for the centralized network. I think that's another part of the conversation. But yeah, you can read all the thread around this. There is many conversation. There is people that have opinions around if you can maybe you have a big validator and you can split this into many small validators to take advantage of the universal basic income that is suggested. I think that there are another good ideas that why not to ask for more delegation? How is the NEAR Foundation thinking about how many tokens are being distributed to these validators and more and more. If any other one have an opinion, also can talk here.
Thanks, Alan, for showing this. I think this is very important that the validators who are presented on the call and will watch that video later see that topic and take active part in discussing. But can you clarify how this UBI model can be implemented at existing blockchain protocol level? Like, is that required changes at the protocol, or it is something can be done like as a plugin or like as a third-party smart contract?
Yeah, if you can go up, I don't know who is sharing the screen, just for mention one example. Let's take this, the tax reward models. Is for example, we have the NEAR network is is controlled, or well, nine validators on the NEAR network have the 33% of the total stake. We have close to 200. That's something that matters. So you can see in the models there is a red line that indicate the Nakamoto coefficient. The Nakamoto coefficient is that line that split the people that have this 33%, these 9 validators, and those that are on the left of the red line are close to 200 validators. So what I suggested on some of these models is take fraction of the rewards that we generate and split those equally to all the validators. Doesn't matter conditions, you just reduce the amount that anyone is taking, and you ensure these basic tokens. I don't have fresh the numbers, but some of these models ensure that you can pay at least the hardware cost, just for not being losing money. There is another models, if you can go down. This, for example, is like you make a taxed rewards models. Basically, those that are above the Nakamoto coefficient generate less rewards, and these rewards that are being taxed are distributed to all the small validators, ensuring that these people can have enough money to pay hardware. On these models, we have this like we have these opinions that maybe a big validator can split in multiple small validators just to have this income for small validators. What we've also thought on that conversation was that we can make one of the criteria to accomplish to receive these extra rewards is that you have a maximum of 10% of fees. So if you are on a small validator running with the small fees, you will have an extra reward for participating on the decentralization of the network. What I'm not really sure. We asked some people on Pagoda participating in the conversation. If we want to make this on the how can we say, on the core software that is provided by Pagoda to distribute these rewards, I'm not sure how viable is that. I really don't have experience. I can think that we can make part of this on the smart contracts. We can have like a pool of people that we can have a pool that receives stakes and distribute to the validators that are having less production of rewards and make this equally. Part of this is done by the liquid stakers like Stader, Linear, and Metapool. But again, the big amount of tokens that is being received is not the one that is managed by liquid stakers. It's the one that is managed by lockup accounts. And so we need to see how we can manage one big bag of locked tokens to be moved to the small validators.
Sorry, just to clarify, you expecting the top 10 validators just to volunteer to, you know, give away certain amount of received rewards, like, or is this something which can be done at the protocol level? Like, you know, I don't believe that anyone like from top group will, you know, voluntarily give up their rewards. I mean, we are in the real world. And
yeah, I don't think that too, but being going full for the money, many of these top validators surely have commercial agreement that they made. That's okay, but we still need to think if our goal is to support more small validators decentralizing the network. We need to see how we can make profitable also for them. I think that here is a message of unfairness that we have small validators that are paying more money than what they are getting for running on. That's the rewards of state wards being paying money during 1 year for supporting the network. That's like that doesn't have very much sense. And we have big validators that have a lot of stake and they are producing profits. And well, I think that the profit that are generating these big validators, if we move in some way a fraction of these rewards, all the small validators can have enough profit to keep validating and at least paying the hardware costs.
okay. Anyone has any suggestions or questions?
No, we didn't.
Hey, yeah, I mean, just to start, I think this is a really important topic and extends into a lot of different areas. And I think that we should attempt to ensure that this is at the tip of the spear of the working group as a generalized theme that we continue to work towards, because there's always going to be a way to adapt and introduce additional complexity to make what we're trying to achieve better. So perhaps like an initial step is to objectify the specifics of the system and network architecture as we ideally want it to be. So whether that's, you know, that we want to make sure that we have a split across infrastructure providers all the way down to network links, right? Because we're ultimately working within a broader economic context, which will motivate action towards certain providers if they happen to be cheaper than others, for example. So then you end up with coalescing and concentration of operators within certain providers and certain network links around the world and so on. So like there's this piece of strategic design and architecture which I think we need to potentially consider so that we can say how we ideally want the network to be. So fully objectify that and design it, and then we can build incentive mechanisms and introduce complexity into rewards emission curves and other items to be able to kind of motivate behavior towards that end goal. But I do really like the idea of having a stable foundation as potentially as a step one towards that, because it's important for people in everyday life as well to have stability underneath their feet, right? To be able to then make investments of time and effort into something. So I do like the idea of having you know, some form of UBI within this. So yeah, I think this is a good idea, and I think my thought is that we make this generalized topic you know, a really important spear tip agenda item for the working group that we have as we move forward to continue to build on this idea and introduce additional complexity at the protocol level, ideally, I think, so that we're able to kind of construct and design a network which is the most optimally distributed and decentralized.
Okay, any other suggestions? Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Well, I have to remark. Of course, I'm okay to say that for the Star Wars, we're 3 winners. So the sustainability of Ryan and Node is in question because they have received small part of stack. I'm one of them, so I'm a long believer in the network. So this is why I'm even if I have got a little stack and gaining some delegators these last days. I think most of Stack Wars winners, if there's not a solution for that, will be out in some time. Second question, as you have shown, 9 of the validators have a huge amount of stack, and they are getting more and more delegators. And as a delegator, if I were asked to delegate, I would automatically stack to them because they have the most big stacks, of course. Is there any thing you can do at protocol level, for example, to encourage delegators to delegate to small nodes, like putting, for example, some threshold to the number of delegators or the total stack that that a node can have? Is there any project on that side or not? Thank you.
Well, I think if I understand correctly, did you mean that to encourage delegators to stake into smaller nodes by providing delegators higher percentage of rewards versus on the smaller nodes versus the like top nodes? This approach has been used, I think, in Polkadot, and I don't think it's ideal, and I'm not even sure this is really possible to do at the protocol level on near blockchain. But it's definitely something we, if we present this and research it truly and have suggestions at the protocol level, how can we see that implemented? I'm sure Pagoda will review that and have their opinion at some stage. But the thing is that everybody's so busy to actually start doing this. Everybody's thinking somebody else will do it, and it's not moving anywhere. So if anyone volunteer from this group to actually start working research on that possibility of having like a variable rewards fees, or the variable rewards percentage, then of course please do. But I'm not sure it's really possible.
I can suggest if we see at the table of validators, there are some of them that have community support. I guess we need to review that they don't have maybe a commercial agreement or something like that. But look at, I will share my screen just for, hey, I cannot, okay. Well, you can see in the validators, some of these, like staked.pool, staked.pool v1, and also we have Astro Stakers, and we have
Savadil.
Zapodil.
Yeah.
These are community supported validators, and we can ask them to raise their fee. So they go like, hey, you unmotivate people to stake on your validator, and you start cover 15 or 20% fee. At the end, you will get more money on fees, but maybe there will be some people that will be looking for the profit and moving to small validators that have a small fee. Also, we should make a campaign around that. Like, these validators are supporting the decentralization of the network, increasing their fee for on motivating, and you should delegate to the last ones of the table. That's something that doesn't have any technical technical requirement. We just need to arrange the agreement with all the people.
Well, we already know this is impossible. I mean, let's not think this everybody is running their business as they see fit, and like, all these community focused validators are doing a great job, and they attracted validators. But put it this way, that where back in 2 years ago it was possible, where we can make some changes, where the NEAR ecosystem just starting, but now most of the stake has been done, and I haven't seen like a huge stake in a long time. All the like big delegations are happening between like probably some funds to stake in their own nodes, or some stake move. But put it this way, like, who is buying NEAR in big chunks on exchanges to stake these days? I mean, we are not in this market yet, and the ecosystem has been established, and I think the only way for us to support the small validators is to try to progress that idea of UBI. But the question is how to do that. What help do you, Alan, need from validators to get this on the table, discussed, and actually implemented? Make that into a government forum and get this closed. We don't expect, by the way, to somebody is just accepting and donating the stake to a UBI. We need to do that at either protocol level, or it has to be NEAR Foundation who will help these small validators. Like, believe it, put it this way, any other blockchain is the foundation who runs the program and who supports the validators increasing numbers. Like Kusama, Polkadot, 1,000, like 2,200 validators in Solana. And I can provide more examples. So foundations are who actually drives it, who owns it. You don't really expect any sort of validators will voluntarily donate part of their stake or increase or decrease percentage of fee they take in. It's decentralized network, but somebody has to take this role, own that role, and actually help smaller validators. So the question is, how do we progress with UBI? It's been there as a like forum post for like, I don't know how many months, 5, 6 months, and it's not moving.
Yeah, I think we started this conversation on January. It's been close to four months. In that point, I remember that we have many ideas around. I think that also what we need to focus is Well, let's retake the conversation of what we advanced in that moment. But in the second part is let's join all the stakeholders, and I mean here specifically Pagoda and Near Foundation, to join this conversation and to have also their point of view. At the end of the day, they are very important stakeholders, and they are more action makers on the network that can make possible to take one or another path on the UBI.
Jiska, you have something to add?
So can I speak? Yeah. Hey folks, I have two questions actually, one for Meetapool and second maybe for thinking question. So the first question about yeah, Alan, as you remember, I asked you a question on AMA with NEARWEEK Guild about delegation to Zavadil from Meetapool and other top validators. You said that it will be internal discussion. Is it any results?
I think I don't get it. Can you?
I mean, yeah. If you open vote.meetapool.app, we will see that Meetapool delegate to Zavadil like 300 cases, but Zavadil is top 10 validator, right? And I asked that question on the AMA like 2 weeks ago, and you said that it will be internal discussion. Maybe any results of this discussion.
Okay, about the delegation that is being run on vote.meetapool.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, yeah.
No, I think I'm a bit lost. The question is around if we delegate to Zavadil or
Yeah. My question is that Meetapool delegates to top delegators right now. We see stake on the votes.meetapool, but
yeah, okay,
it's something that we can do right now, right? We can undelegate these tokens and delegate to other validators, for example, to like save like Nakamoto coefficient, right? Because right now it looks like we have like LSD, like a staking derivative that works with top validator. Why do we need to do that?
Got it. I really have it in mind with this topic. I will review it. Theoretically, we don't delegate to these top 10 validators, but I think we can have that on another separate conversation. But yeah, thanks for that note.
Yeah, and the second, yeah, so it's for general question. I saw in the chat that Kudan proposed to like block top validators from getting stake. I don't think that that it will work actually, but what we can do, for example, we can work with wallet teams, and for example, just remove from whitelist of the wallet the top validators. I think it could be a fast solution that's easy to implement. So why not?
Well, I think I can answer that this is not going to happen. I mean, again,
Why not?
I've been in this game for like a long time, and you can discuss it as much as you want, but this is not going to happen. Like you can't just say, go to the team of the wallet, say, can you extract that validator? And they say no, because it's basically they have to justify the decision to it's extra work for them. They have to justify it to the validators pool who will be removed. I mean, in reality, no. I think we've seen in other chains how it can be done.
No, I mean, we can just develop a model that will get every day the data on top delegators and like lock and log. I mean, not like, oh, we give a list for wallet teams and they like, oh, okay, this list should be banned. No, it should be automated tool that will just check the top validators and just remove them from the list, and that's it. But the validators will still have an ability to get delegation from like, you know, from blockchain, from terminal, right? Why not?
Yeah, I think you feel free to actually mention.
I was gonna say. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say what Dennis is gonna say. Good luck.
Yeah, yeah. Just
Ah,
create an issue on the
here's the
block.
thing. I'm not small, I'm not big, but I do put a lot of work into getting delegations. I'm not giving them up. We support wallets, we support developers in a lot of different areas. Getting them to remove some of the biggest validators is going to be tough. One other point, kind of unrelated but related. I just want to throw this out there. I'm never going to say this again. This is the last time. UBI, like universal basic income, is kind of a controversial term. I might change it to something else. Just last thing I will say about it.
Can you elaborate? What do you mean is going to change to something else?
I'm just saying that universal basic income. Okay, there's some like
Just call it differently. You mean just let's say
something
like,
different, something different.
yeah, okay.
Like
no problem.
in different economies, there's some communist connotations. I would just call it something different. Don't
Economical
call it universal
incentives.
basic income. Sure, perfect. There's not universal basic income.
Guys, shall we move to the next topic? Since we
I
are
think
already
we
over
really
time.
run out of time to discuss. I mean, the pool V3, V2s. I think we're just gonna keep it for another time.
Next time. Okay.
Yeah. And I think that to summarize, we have this, great idea to have small validators called UBI. We call it differently, as Sam suggested. But how do we actually make that happen? Alan, do you have any idea out of the meeting now? How can we help? How can we work on that? Do we get, Ori, can you suggest anything to make it as a proposal on NEARWEEK forum, or how do we make that happen?
Yeah, I think that for what to remember on the last conversations, one key point is how can we get a stake from lock accounts or from big sources, and also how to distribute it. I can retake that research, and maybe in a couple of days, weeks, we can retake this on a call and give it. But yeah, I think if I have advanced on this, I can keep going forward on that way.
Excellent. And I think most of the Stake Wars 3 contestants and winners are here very interested in this happens. So I really hope they will be helping in making that happen by providing the feedback in forums. We will post the link to the forum. I'm not sure if we can still use the same kind of old DevGo forum, or we just better move it to Near Discovery platform.
I'm not really sure how many of you participate on Near Social and all of this. If it's okay to move it, it's right. I think we can initiate a separated conversation just to have a fresh and pointed conversation around how to implement one of these. Yeah, but I don't know. I think other one can suggest where to put this conversation.
Okay, thanks. I just realized that Ori had to drop. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't notice it before. Yeah. Anyone? Thank you very much for joining. Mike to Kudam to finalize that meeting. And if anyone has any questions, please raise a hand. We still have time to discuss. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, I have suggestions. So, is there a technical possibility in here? I know, from what I saw, it's not really possible, but can we actually delegate based on the concentration, right? And for that, we need to understand where the node is actually located, in on the internet, right? Or geographically, like basically ensure good geographical and the carrier distribution of the nodes, right? As part of the Stake Wars 3, I did experiment. I did like a RPC walk, but that's only for the basically that's for all nodes, right? For all like about 800 near nodes, right? And it doesn't really reflect the it doesn't really reflect actually validator nodes. So can we like, does anybody know of any technical mechanism how we can locate actual validator nodes? And this way we can build a dashboard, and for example, stake and pools can also make a decision to delegate based on concentration.
Yeah, well, technically it is of course possible, and even our friend Amma from Lux 8 pool has provided that insights like a couple of years ago, and I think it's even possible to share this information now. But I think again, it's only applies to near foundation delegation or metapool delegation or any centralized delegation activities. If you're talking about like individual delegators, I mean,
no, just make it visible, right? Make the concentration visible.
Yeah, but they don't really
kind
care. I mean, I give you an example of discussion in the near community groups, and one person asked, "Oh, hello, I just have a bunch of near. Who do I stake to?" And everyone says, "Oh, stake to Zavadil because he's a good community member." This is it. Nobody's looking into like the concentration to providers. I mean, this is real. Like, and again, you get someone from corporation. Who do they stake? They stake in kind of corporate pools. Like, they don't care if they pay 10% fee. They want, and there are also certain agreements. In big funds, you can't just stake or delegate. You have to sign the contracts. You can't just stake to your pool because they won't be able to sign with a contract, do like legal compliant staking, and it's just impossible. But yes, for near foundation stake, for metapool stake, I think it's definitely possible to build that dashboard and make it available to them.
Actually, it's also an interesting question where Stader and other liquid staking protocols delegate, because I couldn't find any information about that, right?
Oh, that's a good question, and it would be nice to have them on the call to answer, but unfortunately, we don't. Maybe, next time we'll have someone from Stader on this call to provide some answers. Okay, if no more questions, I think we're ready to wrap up. And everybody, thank you very much for joining. Kudam, mic is yours.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining. I think we have a really good the first call. So thank you everyone. Look forward to the next call. I hope everyone here will also be present in the next call, and we will have some more interesting conversations.
Thank you everyone for joining.
All right. Have a nice day, guys.
Have a great weekend.